All right, lace them up, sports. Let's go.
Let's go.
Will somebody tell me if we're supposed to start the program?
Freeman hits the ball. Right field.
Into right field. She is gone.
Oh, what a pass. Doncic, perfection there on the assist. A little magic from Doncic.
Stafford takes the shoulder, takes a shot downfield. It is caught by Nakua. He picked him on his shoulder and made the catch.
One of a kind player. One of a kind season. Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Dumping in on the count. LeBron James at the buzzer.
This game's in the Admiral refrigerator. The door is closed, the lights out. Butter's getting hard, the eggs are cooling, and the jello is jiggling.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the LA Sports Roundup Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Andrade, sitting here recording Wednesday, April 15th. It's tax day, unfortunately, for everyone here in the United States. Hope you paid your taxes, or IRS is going to come for you. That is a government joke and also a professional wrestling joke if you get it. But yes, April 15th, 2026. I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. We just saw some NBA play-in tournament highlights. Games being played yesterday between the Charlotte Hornets and the Miami Heat. We also saw LaMelo Ball take out Bam Adebayo's knees, unfortunately, but then he also hit a clutch game-winning layup as well. I've never been so big on LaMelo Ball, but it seems like he's taking that Hornets team, and he's really becoming a leader there. It's good to see. Unfortunately, that was a nasty spot, taking out Bam Adebayo's knee, so hopefully he's okay. But going forward on today's podcast, we are going to be talking all things LA Lakers playoffs, Houston Rockets Game 1 starting Saturday. We're going to be talking, it's a 10-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant's last game. Can you believe it? The last ever game Kobe Bryant played was against the Utah Jazz, where he dropped 60 points. We're going to be talking about that. The Dodgers are playing a $1 billion series against the New York Mets. Before we get to all of that, again, guys, you can like, subscribe, follow us, stalk us on all of our social medias at Lace 'em Up Sports. Please, guys, we need to up these numbers and get into a place where, we can start monetizing this podcast. It's for the love of the game, but also, it'd be nice to get a little bread going on. It'd be nice to get a little bread going on, and that starts with your guys' support. But for everyone listening to today's podcast, I cannot thank you enough. But just make sure and help us out if you so choose to do so. Like us, subscribe to us, stalk us, hit that like button, smash it on all of our social medias. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you can find us, guys. That's going to be on Tuesday night. Game 3 will switch over to Houston, Texas. That'll be on Friday, April 24th. Game 4 will be next Sunday, April 26th, also in Houston. And if these games are necessary, then it'll go into a Game 5 back at Crypto.com Arena here in LA. Game 6 will switch back over to Houston May 1st, and then if possible, Game 7 will be played here in LA. That'll be May 3rd, a Sunday. So this is the 10th time that the Lakers and the Houston Rockets will have played each other in the NBA playoffs in league history. This is the first time since 2020 that these two teams will square off. Last time being inside the bubble in Orlando, Florida, where the Lakers won. But the Lakers have dominated this, the history between their playoff series between the Houston Rockets. They've dominated a lot of those series. I remember back in 2009, that was a really hard-fought series, but the Lakers won that one, I believe, in 7 games. That was on our way to an NBA championship. Same with 2020 as well. But the Lakers have also played the Rockets in the NBA playoffs, I believe, in 2004. I think one of those games, Karl Malone ripped his jersey, if I'm not mistaken. One of those games. But the Lakers played the Rockets in 99. They played them in 91. Yeah, I think that's where the Rockets have beaten the Lakers. They played them in 90. They played them in 1986. I think that's where the Rockets have also beaten the Lakers in 1986. But they beat them in 70. They played them in 73, and they played them in 1956. So some history there going back a long, long time. But this year, it's a new year. It's 2026. But something that's not new is that LeBron James will have to carry the way for the Lakers. Because if the Lakers have any shot of winning this playoff series against the Rockets, it's going to have to be led by LeBron James. 41-year-old LeBron James is going to have to put on the cape one more time to get the Lakers a playoff series victory here. And it's going to be a very tall task for him to do so. I mean, look, it's not going to be easy whatsoever. We're without Austin Reeves. We're without Luka Doncic. Austin being out indefinitely for this first round series, and Luka, he's definitely trying to get back in time at least for a Game 6 or Game 7, but who knows if he's going to be able to make it, or if the Lakers are even going to allow him to come back during the series, or if the Lakers are even going to be in position for him to come back, because the Lakers could get beaten by in 5 games. They could be beaten in 6 games. Who knows if the Lakers, they could even get swept. I mean, that's a possibility here. Nobody wants to think about it, but they could get swept. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's a possibility. But who knows if the Lakers will be in position for him to come back on time. But as we said, the Lakers are without their 2 best players right now. I mean, obviously LeBron James is LeBron James, but they're without arguably their 2 best players. Obviously, they're without their best player in Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves is certainly the number 2 or 3 guy on this team. So how can the Lakers make this a series, and how can the Lakers even stay afloat against the Houston Rockets, even though we have home court advantage? A lot of people are looking at the Lakers like they're underdogs. A lot of people, and a lot of people are not expecting us to even make a series out of it. They're thinking that the Lakers could get swept. We can be beaten 5 games. It's certainly, like I said, it's certainly a possibility that can happen. But how can the Lakers overcome that? And I think it's going to all depend, not just on LeBron James, obviously. LeBron is not at a place where he can do it consistently every single night anymore. I mean, it's even hard for him to do it in 1 game, let alone. But let's think about who are going to be the role players that are going to help the Lakers succeed in this playoff series, because it's going to be a team effort if the Lakers are going to have any chance at competing in this series. The first person that comes to my mind is DeAndre Ayton. He has had such an up and down season with the Lakers. It's been a really roller coaster. It started off really well, I think, but then dipped down through majority of the season. And in fact, you had guys like Stephen A. Smith calling him out, saying you have no shame on putting on that Lakers jersey and putting out the effort that you do. And we all know what happened. But what was it, like a couple months ago, where he was talking about they're trying to make me into Clint Capella, that kind of stuff, saying he's not the man. Look, it's not about any of that stuff. It's just about contributing to his role. And he's going to have a hell of a time trying to cover Alfred Sengun in the post. In 2 of the 4 games that Sengun has played in against the Lakers, he's averaged 20 points, actually 20.5 points per game. He's averaging 7.0 assists a game. He's averaging 50% from 3-point line, and his field goal percentage is 68.2. I mean, he is cooking all throughout the court here, and it's been very apparent how good he is. He's an all-star caliber player, and not just that. I mean, not just Sengun. Look at Clint Capella. Clint Capella is no bum off the bench either. So Ayton's gonna have his hands full trying to cover these guys. And look, it's not about him trying to be the man on this team. It's about him just covering this role. If he can play good defense on these guys, put a big body on Sengun, try to put a body on Clint Capella, trying to cover out, box out for rebounds, that's going to be huge for this team, because we all know how much they struggle in terms of getting offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds as well. Just trying to get a body out there, trying to contest, that's going to be huge if he could just do that. And also, look, just be available, run the floor. If he's running the floor for LeBron James, it's going to be huge. Not sagging down court, not complaining. It's gonna take an all effort for him to really cover out and be available in terms of running the floor. But if he can do that and also put a body on these guys, that's his role right there. 2 other names that come to mind are Jake LaRavia and Marcus Smart. I mean, these guys are pivotal for the Lakers' success in terms of Smart being the guy that they brought him in to fill that role, in terms of being a defensive guy out there to cover guys, to be a spark plug out there, to really just have energy out there. But they're really going to use his ball handling out there, and look at the Lakers are very short-handed at the point guard position. That's why they re-signed Nick Smith Jr. just to cover that position. And Nick Smith is also a guy that can shoot shoot the 3-pointer with a really good high volume, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to need Marcus Smart to go out there and have somewhat of a role on the offensive end. But if Marcus Smart can really cover out and be just energy out there and be a nuisance out there, just a nuisance in terms of bothering guys like Amen Thompson and a Reed Shepherd if Smart can just be a nuisance and just really body up on these guys. Because Amen Thompson has had his way with the Lakers all the year too. If we go back to that Christmas Day game, I mean, he was all over the place. He was pretty much like the MVP in that game besides Kevin Durant. He was all over the place and he was giving the Lakers fits. But if Marcus Smart can really just be a nuisance out there, cover out, and then also hit his shots, it'll be great for the Lakers to have that. Also, Jake LaRavia. Jake has had a steady year with the Lakers, some dips here and there, but it's been kind of steady. But the Lakers are really going to need his offense, and look, not just offense, but same thing with Marcus Smart. The Lakers are going to need LaRavia to cover out, use his wingspan, use his defensive tenacity out there to really be a nuisance on these guys. Because look at the wing depth on the Rockets. You also have Kevin Durant, who's just a sniper still out there. You have Jabari Smith Jr. I mean, these guys can get shots over you. So the Lakers are desperately going to need Jake LaRavia to use his size and his skills out there just to make it hard on these guys. Another guy that comes to my mind is a Jared Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's been in the doghouse pretty much all year long with JJ Redick, and we all saw what happened last week where JJ and Vanderbilt were Vanderbilt was really just upset about the way things were going in terms of him being benched. But Vanderbilt, this guy was a starter 3 years ago for the Lakers in the playoffs. You're telling me that he can't be a difference maker in this first round series coming off the bench? Of course he can. He's not the defensive player he was, but a Vanderbilt can still make things really difficult on a Kevin Durant and a Jabari Smith. Obviously Kevin Durant is going to get his points, but it's about making it difficult. And if you can just limit these other guys on going off, the Lakers are going to have a lot better chance in being successful in this series. Another guy that comes to my mind is Rui Hachimura. It's been a roller coaster with him all season long too. And in fact, I think the Lakers have kind of given up on him. They've taken him in and out of the starting lineup. That was before Austin and Luka went out, but they've taken him in and out of the starting lineup, and it just at this point now where you really want to see Rui succeed, but he's just so inconsistent with this play. But Rui, if he's hitting his shots and just, again, making things difficult, because Rockets also have guys coming off the bench like a Josh Okogie and Jashawn Tate and Tari Eason. Man, we're going to need everybody to contribute, not only with their shooting, not only with their offensive ability, but just making things difficult on the defensive end. Something we haven't really seen the Lakers do a whole lot this year, but the Lakers are going to need to put it together for this playoff series if they have any chance at being successful. And that means being very, very consistent with their 3-point shooting. They can ill afford on being very, very poor from the 3-point land this series. They can ill afford at taking plays off. They have to bring energy every single moment that they're out there. I mean, it's going to take that kind of effort for the Lakers to beat the Houston Rockets. Is it impossible? No. Is it going to be very, very difficult? Of course. And again, LeBron James. It's going to come down to how LeBron James is, just the focal point of this team. And Houston is going to try and throw everything at him. Because why? He's the only guy that they can really ever prepare for in this series now that Luka and Austin are out. But it's just going to depend on what LeBron James does for himself to adjust and how effective can he be to get his teammates going out there. And it's going to be up to the teammates as well to get going and make sure that they're on point on defense. You can't control if the ball goes in the hoop or not, but you can control your effort. And LeBron James is going to have to do a great job in not only getting himself going on that end, because we all know LeBron James's deficiencies on the court. He has struggled. He is very, very, this year alone, in his 23rd season, he has struggled more than any other time in his NBA career than he has on the defensive end. And he's going to have to pick it up, and he's going to have to score. He's going to have to drive to the basket. It's not just about his 3-point shooting. He's going to really have to make it work inside, drawing fouls. He's going to have to drive. He's going to have to, set up and look for players to hit their wide open shots. It's going to be a team effort, like I had been saying. Again, a guy like Luke Kennard, he's going to have to look at. We signed him because he was the best 3-point shooting player in the NBA this season, and he's going to have to put it on display. He's really going to have to put it on display. I mean, we can ill afford for us to be very poor from the three-point line. We can ill afford for the Lakers to be poor on the defensive end, because if it is, it's going to be a sweep or a 5-game series for the Houston Rockets. That's just it. That's the way the cookies crumble this year. So the Lakers are going to have to really come together in terms of putting it all together on the floor starting Saturday. And honestly, I'm not even thinking about Luka Doncic returning in this playoff series, because who knows where he's at. Obviously he went to Spain, he got treatment on his hamstring, and he's trying to do whatever he can to come back and play in this playoff series. And the last thing anybody wants to see with Luka Doncic is him going back out there and re-injuring himself, or making it worse, or tearing something. That's the last thing I ever want to see out there. That's the last thing the Lakers fans want to see, the organization wants to see, Luka himself. Nobody wants to see that at all. Nobody. So they're going to have to be very, very careful in how they tread water here, because I know Luka wants to go out there and play. I know he wants to make a difference, but it's just not, to me, is it worth, the sacrifice? Is it worth him going out there and re-injuring himself to win a playoff series? When again, the Lakers are on the wrong side of the bracket this year either way. The Lakers could have been the 3rd seed. They could have been the 3rd seed if we stayed healthy, and then they would have been on, I guess, the better half of their bracket if they happened to win their first round series. They would have played the San Antonio Spurs if the Spurs also won their first round series. They would have been in that better half of the bracket, because the Lakers, with a healthy team, had a much better chance of beating the San Antonio Spurs in the second round than they do the Oklahoma City Thunder. Because if the Lakers somehow get past the Houston Rockets, that's pretty much who we're playing, because the 8th seed is not knocking off the number 1 seed Thunder. That's not happening. I mean, obviously, you can't say anything is impossible, but the 8th seed is not. I mean, the Clippers or whoever it is going to be, they're not knocking off the Thunder. That's not happening. Not whatsoever. But going back to what I'm saying, it's not really worth the sacrifice, I feel like, at this point. But we'll see. We'll see what kind of decisions they make. If Luka wants to, if he feels like his body is ready enough to play, then he's going to play. But is the juice worth the squeeze here, per se? And to me, it's not. It's really not. And like I said before, Austin Reeves he's been ruled out indefinitely. The Lakers do not know when they're going to get him back, if at all, this season, with the grade 2 oblique strain, and that's just going to take time for him to heal. And we don't know if Austin will appear again for the Lakers this season. And who knows? Because Austin Reeves is a free agent coming up. Could Austin Reeves have played his last game as a Los Angeles Laker already? I mean, that's certainly a possibility at this point. But that's not for us to get into today. Last thing before we go off of this Lakers-Rockets series, JJ Redick, the Lakers head coach, I mean, it's really going to be his time to really shine and to show that he is a credible NBA coach in terms of being in the playoffs, good decision-making, setting the team up in right positions, drawing out the right plays, and just going to his bench and utilizing the best guys possible in order to throw at the Houston Rockets. I think it's going to be a really big test for JJ Redick. This guy has shown that he can win in the regular season. In both his seasons as head coach for the LA Lakers, he's already won 50 games or more. But now it's going to, look at the Lakers are very short-handed in this playoff series. There's no doubt about that. But he's still going to have to go out there and show that he could be a winning coach in the playoffs. And, this is a good opportunity for him to do so. And we'll see what kind of decision-making JJ Redick puts out there starting Saturday. 10 years ago today, the Lakers played their final game of the 2015 and 16 NBA season. They played their last game at Staples Center against the Utah Jazz. And that was, in many, many, many people's minds and hearts, is going to be a date that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives. Not because the Lakers were anything memorable at that point, because we actually were, the Lakers were 17 or 16 and 65 at that point. Basically, we had the worst record in franchise history. But we'll not remember the Lakers season by that. I mean, that's a distant memory. The only reason why anybody's going to remember that date is because that was the last game of the legendary, my hero, Kobe Bryant. That was the last game of his NBA career, the last game he has ever played and will ever play. First of all, it is fucking crazy that it's already been 10 years since Kobe Bryant has played his final game. I mean, 10 years. Think about that. I mean, 10 years, time has just not only blinked. I mean, it's just how, like, it's just crazy how fast time can just fly away. 10 years ago, I was 25 years old. I really didn't have a fucking clue about life, to be honest. I mean, obviously, 25, you are a grown-ass man. Nobody's going to deny that. But truth be told, at 25 years old, does anybody really have a fucking clue what they're going to do with their life? Really? I mean, yeah, a few people do, but like in this society today's age, does anybody have a fucking clue what they're going to do for the rest of their life at 25? I don't know. I mean, they're definitely doing something. I was working with kids with autism, but I definitely did not see myself working in mental health like I do now, and certainly was far less mature then than I am now. That's for damn sure. Secondly, it's just amazing. Just going back and watching that footage of Kobe Bryant putting on an historic performance in his last ever game, 60 points against the Utah Jazz on that night in April of 2016, the final game of his career, the final game of the Lakers season that night. It's just going back and watching it, man. Tears, literally, and I'm not ashamed to say this, tears started coming down my face because just seeing him, man, put on a performance like that for the final time. I remember watching that with my family, my friends at that time, and man, we were crying like babies watching that game. You know, because a lot of us, my brother, his friend, I mean, Kobe was our hero. He was our absolute hero growing up. I mean, I grew up watching Kobe Bryant. I was born in 91, so when Kobe started playing in 96, I was in kindergarten. I remember watching, his early days, the first couple games he played against Michael Jordan against the Chicago Bulls, and then obviously the championships, the three-peat with him, Shaq, and Phil, and then obviously him going through his struggles in life with the Colorado case, getting over that, getting back to the mountaintop with, getting back D-Fish and getting Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom, those teams going back-to-back, especially winning Game 7 in 2010. Man, just the trials and tribulations of what Kobe Bryant's career and just growing up and watching it and following it. I mean, that all was represented in a nutshell during that game in 2016, his final game of his career, for him going for 60 points. Obviously, he took 50 field goals, whatever, who cares? But man, we were just crying like babies watching him make shot after shot after shot. It took me back during that time, and I don't know, a couple days ago, watching the footage again, because I hadn't watched his final game in maybe a year or two. It just brought back some memories and brought back, a lot of the good times just watching him, and it really just reiterated the fact that, man, I miss Kobe. I miss him. I miss watching him. I miss his heroics out there, him donning a Laker uniform, him just being Superman out there, really just brings you back to my childhood. And man, I'm not afraid to say it. I really do miss the guy, and it just you can't help but think what his life would be like now if he were still alive, and him and Gianna. It's just really sad to think about. And I just wish he was still around. Obviously, he wouldn't be playing. He already retired 10 years ago. He wouldn't be playing. But I wish he was still around to see the game evolve and to see Luka playing for the Lakers and, where everything's at in terms of sports. I wish the guy was still around, and man, I miss him. I really do. That 10-year anniversary mark just kind of hit something with me, and I will always be grateful for the memories that Kobe Bryant presented to me and my family, and just watching his heroics throughout the years. And it's something that I'm always going to just cherish. And yeah, 10 years ago, Kobe played his final game. Crazy. Okay, switching things over to baseball now. We've got the Dodgers versus the Mets currently playing a series right now. Same money, but totally different machines. So we've got this Dodgers versus Mets series right now. And on the surface, it looks like a clash of equals. Two super teams, two massive payrolls, and two owners who basically treat the luxury tax like a cover charge. But once you get past the dollar signs, they are not the same organizations whatsoever, obviously. The Dodgers being back-to-back World Series champions, but it is obviously with the money as well. The Dodgers are sitting at roughly $400 million plus in the payroll, the highest in baseball, and the Mets right behind them around $300 million in that range as well. So this is not big market versus small market. This is billionaires versus billionaires. Hence the billionaire series right here, the $1 billion series I should call it. And yet one of these teams feels inevitable, and the other team feels like they're just still on the search. You know, the Dodgers are a machine. You know, they like I said, they're back-to-back defending champions, and the Dodgers also, they develop talent. They scout internationally. They use analytics. They spend the money where it's not just spending money. It's about getting the right guys and bringing them into the culture and bringing the guys that can fit what the Dodgers need. You know, you saw it in the video with Edwin Diaz talking about the reasons why he came to Los Angeles, and basically the gist of it being that the Dodgers take care of their players. They take care of the people that is in their organization, and not just monetarily, but like with just respect that, quite honestly, doesn't happen all throughout the MLB in total. And that's one of the reasons why we have a Freddie Freeman and Yamamoto and Blake Snell, and obviously Ohtani, Mookie Betts. Like, the list goes on and on. Tucker. Those are the reasons why these guys are coming to Los Angeles. It's obviously because they want a chance to win, and the Dodgers have been paying. But it's just these other things as well that brings in these guys that fit the Dodgers culture. And that's something I feel like the Mets haven't done. You know, the Mets are willing to spend, and certainly have done a good job in bringing in stars like a Juan Soto, but it just hasn't paid off for them like the way, obviously, it has paid off for the Dodgers, you know? And the Mets have built teams like a fantasy baseball roster, stacking big names and trying to win the offseason, but baseball doesn't reward that in the approach that sometimes it may reward the NBA. There's less continuity, less identity with the Mets. You know, one year it's we're all in. Next year is we're retooling. That's the kind of instability that leaks into everything. Clubhouse, confidence, player development, even how the fans interpret the team and experience the team. The point I'm trying to make is, if you are bringing in guys that aren't fitting in your culture, it's going to spread everywhere into what your organization is trying to do. And I feel like that's the biggest differences between a team like the Dodgers, who are spending, they're first in the payroll, but they have gotten everything returned back to them. And the Mets, who are second place in terms of spending on their payroll, and have gotten the least bit back in terms of what they're spending. Now into the series itself. Monday night began the series. Robles he was dealing out there, shutting out the Mets. The Dodgers won that game 4-0, and then also yesterday the Dodgers won the game 2-1 off another good showing from Yamamoto. And they played 2 more games against the Mets, and the Dodgers are really just starting off this 2026 campaign looking like they're on their way to three-peat here. It really is just looking like the Dodgers are just going to cruise their way to another title, and obviously we say that in jest, right? Anything can happen in baseball. The Dodgers can still battle injuries, and they could still have a roller coaster season. But it just looks like right now the Dodgers are just clear and above the best team in baseball, and it's going to be tough for anybody to knock them out. The Dodgers also tonight play in honor of Jackie Robinson. All the players on the teams are going to wear number 42 in honor of Robinson, and so that'll be pretty cool to see. All right, so that's going to do it for today's podcast, guys. I want to thank you guys for tuning in as well. Again, you can follow us on all of our social medias. You can stalk us on there: Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, YouTube. Guys, let's up our numbers, please. Let's get that going. Smash that like button. Follow us. But thank you guys for tuning in to today's podcast. I can't thank you enough, and we'll see you guys next time.